Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I wish I had something light to talk about today, but this story, it's heavy. The internet has been buzzing, and if you've been following the mess between Chrisean Rock, Blueface, and their son Jr, then you already know things have been chaotic from day one. But now, we've entered a whole new level of concern. I'm talking about leaked medical records, serious allegations, and the heartbreaking possibility that this baby might be suffering because of the choices made by the very people who were supposed to protect him. For a while now, people have been side-eyeing Chrisean's parenting. Ever since Jr was born, fans have been whispering that she wasn't ready to be a mom, that her behavior hadn't really changed despite all the promises and interviews where she claimed she was growing and trying to do better. But recently, things have escalated because what was once just internet speculation has now turned into very serious concern after reports began leaking online about Jr.'s health. And we're not just talking about typical baby issues. We're talking about alleged drug exposure, developmental delays, possible abuse, and a whole lot of red flags that fans and even some family members are no longer willing to ignore. Now here's the twist. One of the first people to raise the alarm was Blueface himself. And let's be real, at the time, most people thought he was just trying to embarrass Chrisean. He went on Twitter and posted some pretty alarming stuff, talking about how she smoked weed on the way to the hospital, even performed while pregnant, and that she couldn't stay clean for even a single month during the pregnancy. He claimed their son wasn't healthy and that Chrisean was refusing to get him the medical help he needed. And yo, we rolled our eyes. We thought it was just more drama from a toxic couple. But now, his words are starting to sound like warnings we ignored. Blueface even took things to a disturbing level by posting an inappropriate photo of Jr.'s private area to prove he had a hernia, saying Chrisean was more concerned with chasing other men than getting surgery for their child. It was gross, it was wrong, but it also forced people to really look at what was happening behind the scenes. One of the biggest turning points came just days ago during a live Twitch stream. Chrisean was talking to Blueface on the phone, casually vibing and acting like everything was normal. But in the background, Jr was crying loudly, and instead of stopping the conversation or comforting her son, Chrisean asked two Twitch staff members, yes, random staff, not family, not hired childcare workers, but staff from the streaming platform, to carry her baby to the car. Like he was a bag of equipment or something. She said, about to put a baby in the car. Is that okay? Do you mind taking him to the car? Like she was asking them to grab her charger. What made this so disturbing wasn't just the act itself, but the total detachment. Her son was crying and clearly distressed, and she didn't stop. She just kept talking to Blueface off camera. The baby was left crying in a hot car in the middle of summer until staff stepped in. And when Chrisean finally checked on him, he was coughing from how hard he'd been crying. And y'all, even dogs shouldn't be left in cars in that kind of heat, let alone a crying infant. The more people started paying attention, the more they began noticing that something wasn't quite right with Jr. At his first birthday party, people pointed out that he wasn't walking. He wasn't even standing without support. Chrisean tried to prop him up on her legs and make it look like he was standing, but fans weren't buying it. Now, let's be clear, every baby develops at their own pace. Some walk early, some walk later. That's normal. But when you combine that with all the past concerns, alleged substance abuse, medical neglect, and more, it starts to paint a much more serious picture. And fans weren't the only ones speaking up. Chrisean's former friends and even Blueface's own mom, Carissa, started making statements. Carissa said she drank and smoked while pregnant. That's why he's struggling now. Y'all mad at me for saying it, but the truth is the truth. And when even family starts to speak out publicly, you know things are bad. Then came the moment that turned speculation into full-blown crisis. Jr.'s alleged medical records leaked online, and what they said had everyone holding their breath. According to the documents, Jr. has been diagnosed with fetal alcohol syndrome, a condition caused by drinking during pregnancy that can lead to lifelong developmental and cognitive problems. The documents also list neonatal abstinence syndrome, which happens when a baby is born withdrawing from drugs they were exposed to in the womb. The reports allegedly revealed that Jr. has a seizure disorder, spasticity, and cortical visual impairment, a condition that affects how the brain processes visual information. There's even speculation that Jr. may be partially or fully blind. As many fans have noticed, he often stares off into space and doesn't visually engage the way most babies do. While some fans hoped he was just a quiet, observant baby, the patterns in video after video have raised serious concern. And that's not all. The medical documents also listed a long list of specialists recommended for Jr., including neurology, orthopedics, ophthalmology, cardiology, pulmonology, and even palliative care. That last one, that's typically for patients with chronic or life-threatening conditions. This isn't just a baby with a cold. This is a baby who, allegedly, is facing lifelong challenges. And people are now wondering how much of this could have been prevented. Chrisean eventually responded to the growing backlash by going live and denying everything. She claimed her son was fine, that he could talk, walk, play football, and was hitting all his milestones. She clapped back at critics, saying, "Who is y'all to tell me what he diagnosed with? Y'all don't know nothing about God, and I rebuke everything y'all saying about my child." She tried to spin the narrative, suggesting everyone criticizing her was just being hateful or uninformed. But the problem is, by this point, too much evidence had surfaced. The video clips, the lives, the tweets, the documents, it was all starting to add up. And her emotional outbursts, rather than convincing people she was a protective mother, made her look more defensive and unstable. Then there was the live stream where Chrisean raised her hand. Playfully, she claimed, and Jr. flinched. Now, was it proof of abuse? No. But did it raise eyebrows? Absolutely. The baby's reaction looked automatic, like he'd learned to fear that gesture. And while we can't say for certain what goes on behind closed doors, it's enough to make people worry. And that's heartbreaking. To make matters even more tragic, Chrisean's own mother, Charla, has reportedly expressed disappointment in how things are going. Last year, Chrisean publicly praised her mom for trying to get clean and even asked fans to send recommendations for rehab facilities. She posted a prayer asking for healing for her mother and strength to overcome addiction. But now it's looking like the same demons her mother tried to fight are creeping into Chrisean's life and affecting Jr. too. If the rumors are true, then Chrisean may be repeating the same cycles of neglect and substance abuse that hurt her growing up. And the saddest part is that Jr. is stuck in the middle of all of it. Unable to speak, unable to choose, completely reliant on a mother who might not be capable of giving him what he needs. However, Charlotte, Chrisean's mom, hasn't always had the best relationship with her daughter or with herself. She has a past that includes addiction and instability. And at times, she was publicly called out by Chrisean for failing her as a parent. But last year, something changed. Charlotte began speaking openly about getting clean, about turning her life around, and leaning into her faith. And for a while, it seemed like she was making progress. Chrisean even posted a tribute to her mother, saying she loved her, was proud of her, and prayed for restoration. It looked like a healing journey for both of them. So imagine how bad things must be now for Charlotte to go from being celebrated to reportedly preparing to take custody of her grandchild. According to close sources, Charlotte has been quietly documenting concerns, speaking to attorneys, and asking for help, not because she wants to take something from her daughter, but because she believes her grandson won't survive the current situation. This is a woman who's lived through addiction, chaos, and broken family cycles. She knows what it looks like when things are spiraling, and this time, she's trying to stop it before it's too late. Reports say Charlotte is deeply worried. Allegedly, she's told friends and family that Jr. isn't receiving proper medical care, isn't hitting his developmental milestones, and is being emotionally neglected at best and possibly harmed at worst. The Twitch live stream where Chrisean left Jr. crying in a car while she chatted on the phone with Blueface was a breaking point for a lot of people. That moment wasn't just careless, it was dangerous. And when you consider that the baby has documented medical issues, including serious developmental and neurological concerns, the neglect becomes even more alarming. Charlotte reportedly believes that if someone doesn't step in soon, something tragic could happen. And unlike random internet commenters, Charlotte isn't speculating from the outside. She's family, she's been in the rooms, she's seen the behaviors, she's watched the baby, and now she's allegedly taking legal steps to intervene, even if it means going to court to prove that Chrisean is unfit. For a mother to do that to her own daughter, it's not out of hate. That's desperation. Let's talk about Jr. for a minute, because this is who this entire situation revolves around. Based on the leaked medical documents, Jr. is allegedly suffering from a range of serious conditions. These include fetal alcohol syndrome, which can permanently affect a child's growth and cognitive function, neonatal abstinence syndrome, which occurs when babies are born addicted to substances their mothers use during pregnancy, seizure disorders, muscle spasticity, and potential visual impairment known as cortical visual disorder. If those documents are real, and many believe they are, this baby is already fighting battles most adults couldn't handle. The reports also mention a long list of recommended specialists: neurologists, pulmonologists, gastroenterologists, palliative care teams, the list goes on. Palliative care, y'all. That's not for kids who are doing just fine. That's for children with long-term or life-threatening conditions. Yet, despite all of this, we've seen no consistent evidence that Jr. is receiving the care he needs. No public updates on surgeries, no confirmation of therapies, and no visible signs that Chrisean is taking the proper medical steps. And when she's asked about it, she gets defensive, dismissive, angry. But anger doesn't treat a hernia. Deflection doesn't stop seizures. And denial doesn't change a diagnosis. And now, the family is reportedly divided. Some are allegedly backing Charlotte, saying they've seen enough to know she's doing the right thing. Others are still riding with Chrisean, claiming she's just overwhelmed and needs support, not judgment. But support only works when the person receiving it is willing to accept it. And, by the looks of things, Chrisean is still in denial. Even Blueface's mother, Carissa, has weighed in, saying plainly that Chrisean's behavior is to blame for Junior's struggles. She said on the live she drank and smoked while pregnant. That's why he's sick. Be mad at her, not at me. It's messy. It's sad. But the common thread is that everyone sees the writing on the wall, even if some are still too afraid to say it out loud. So, what has Chrisean said in response to all this? Well, she's pushed back hard. In one of her recent lives, she angrily declared that Jr. is fine, that he's walking, talking, and even playing football. Yes, football. She accused fans of speaking evil over her child and rebuked everything being said about his health. She even claimed that her son is hitting all his milestones and that people just don't know what they're talking about. But the videos tell a different story. Clips show a baby who struggles to engage, who doesn't move like others his age, who flinches when certain gestures are made. And while a mother defending her child is one thing, a mother ignoring her child's needs is something else entirely. Her refusal to face reality could be costing her son valuable time and treatment he can't afford to miss. If Charlotte truly does pursue custody, this could become a major legal battle. Depending on the evidence, video footage, medical records, testimony from doctors, or even CPS workers, she could have a strong case. Courts don't take custody away easily, especially from a biological mother. But if Junior's well-being is proven to be at risk, a judge could step in. It's unclear right now whether Charlotte has filed anything official, but those close to her claim she's preparing to. And honestly, who could blame her? At the end of the day, this is no longer about fame, no longer about Blueface or record deals or social media lives. This is about a baby. A child who didn't ask to be born into chaos. A child who deserves love, medical care, and peace. Whether you love Chrisean or not, we all have to agree that Jr. deserves better than what he's been getting. And if Charlotte is the one willing to step in and provide it, then maybe, just maybe, she's doing what any real grandmother would do. Break the cycle, protect the child, and try to give him a chance at life. This is not just celebrity drama anymore. This is a real-life situation involving a baby who appears to be struggling with serious medical issues. And whether you believe every detail or not, one thing is clear: Jr. deserves better. He deserves stability. He deserves love. He deserves safety. And if the people around him can't give him that, then someone needs to step in before it's too late. The internet has a tendency to judge harshly, but sometimes the outrage is necessary. Sometimes the noise is what brings attention to a situation that can no longer be ignored. And if everything in those medical records is even partially true, then we, as a society, have a responsibility to speak up for this child. Let me know how you feel about all this in the comments. Do you believe the leaked documents? Do you think Chrisean is overwhelmed or truly unfit? Is Blueface genuinely concerned or just trying to stir the pot? There's a lot to unpack here, and I'm curious to hear what y'all think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more updates, because this story, far from over.